Greetings, and it's review time. I'm going to say right now, the timestamps will be underneath this video, so if you want to get straight to the reviews, you don't want to hear anything else from me, by all means, the timestamps will be below. Today was kind of a really fun day. First off, I coached the kids hockey. We lost the game 8-7. The thing with the caveat with that is that there was one kid playing goal who was smaller than the other goaltender, and it was obvious that he was a little bit in over his head. So the goaltenders switched teams about halfway through. It's something that we do, and I thought, considering he was playing against much bigger kids, good on him. And you know, you learn from that kind of experience. It was a fun game that we had today, and things were pretty clean for the most part. The only penalty that might have been called was committed by my player, who was my stepson Gabriel. Pretty blatantly tripped the kid on the other team to the point where Yvonne does the timekeeping. So I just turned to her and I'm like, really? And she's like, same thing. Yeah, she did the same thing I did. So I then went down and told her, so he's kind of lucky that the referee wasn't calling a penalty on that one. But other than that, it was a pretty clean game. At least he apologized to the kid on the way by, and I'm like, all right, well, he did apologize, so you knew he tripped him. Stick right between the feet and pull right from under him. I'm like, oh, no. So, yeah, that was fun. And then on the way home, I was trying to get into people who've been following this channel long enough know that my favorite band in the world is Rammstein. Rammstein's doing a tour of North America, and it's 10 dates, and it's tricky this time because they are arena dates. And because there's only 10, those tickets were going fast. So I got in on the pre-sale. And then it wouldn't take my card. So it kept saying, wrong postal code. And then every time I would go back into that ticket, I go, this ticket's sold. Sorry, these tickets are sold. These tickets are sold. I'm like, oh, they're disappearing so fast. And I was watching as the sections on Ticketmaster were just going from dark blue to light blue to gray. And I was like, oh, this is bad. So all I had to do was just go back into my credit card, hit save, and it went through just fine. And I was like, are you serious? So September 19th, we'll be in Los Angeles for a Rammstein concert. And notice, A, it's a Saturday. B, it's not regular season hockey yet, so it's still the off season. Oh, just so stoked about it. I honestly, and that's why I'm talking about it here. Because, yeah, I'm going to make videos for the entertainment guy about this upcoming concert and about the band that really, the last time I saw them in concert, it was kind of a transformative event in my life, and it was massive. It just everything changes after that. They're the only band that I will go, okay, are they touring? Are they near here? How close? 2 days drive? Good. I'm going to see them. So yeah, that's basically how it works. We'll fly down there, but yeah, so there'll be some Los Angeles stuff going on in September as well, and of course people in the Anaheim area and LA, which is right there, would know that we're going to be down there next week. So that's kind of fun. But LA worked best. I looked at all of the listings and I was like, this one's on a Thursday, this one's on a Tuesday, middle of the week. And, you know, it's Saturday and it's just down in LA. We can probably figure out, it's easier for us to find somewhere to put the kids. I'm not bringing the kids to a Rammstein concert. That's no. No. As soon as you bring the kids to a Rammstein concert, Book Dish will break out. Happened in Vancouver, and it was one of the funniest experiences I ever had. Where, you know, I'm standing in between my two kids, and Book Dish starts up, and I was like, well, they're gonna do the clean version they do in the States. Oh no, they're not. Nope. Here we go, and both my kids were laughing their heads off. Don't look it up. Serious. Don't. All right, let's get into tonight's games now that exciting news is out of the way. Because again, pretty stoked. I may have been dancing a lot tonight already and listening to their music already. Okay, Winnipeg. These guys need some soothing music. They do. Going into the break, Winnipeg looks lost, and I know people are going to say, well, we're fighting a lot of injuries, but they've still got a lot of key guys in the lineup. You look at a lot of their top guys are still in the lineup, and their goaltenders are both healthy. There are issues with Winnipeg right now. And we've talked about coaches, and you know what? If Winnipeg keeps fading like this, yeah, for people who've wanted Paul Maurice gone, and there have been a vocal number of Winnipeg Jets fans who haven't been happy with him for the last couple of years, every now and then they crop up. this is kind of giving rise to that idea that maybe Maurice could end up in some trouble here. Appleton scores from Perreault and Zabiza at 4:38. Seth Jones would tie it from Foligno and Dubois at 6:06. So it's a tie game. Jets get a power play they don't score on. But Kyle Connor would score from Boteto and Spiza at 17:06. And it's too bad Connor tipped that because that would have been Boteto's first goal of the year. I'd like to see that happen. He's actually been playing pretty well for them. Bressois then denied Bjorkstrand, and it's 2-1 Jets after one. So far, so good, right? Second period, Bjorkstrand. This kid has all the tools. He really does. He scores from Dubois at 1:28. That ties it up. There were some end-to-end actions. Both teams had near misses. The shots were 7-2, though, in that period for Columbus, 11 minutes into the period. Elvis then denied Wheeler. And Blake Wheeler was looking up, trying to figure out exactly what happened, looking at the replays. There were lots of stoppages in that second period, which kind of favors Winnipeg because they're on the second half of a back-to-back. The Jets then get a power play. On said power play, they get a goal. Pionk scores from Wheeler and Connor at 15:33. Columbus then gets a power play, and they score as well. It is Nyquist from Dubois and Werenski at 17:55, and the puck was right on the line, and just before Winnipeg clears it out, Nyquist jams it in. It's one of those nights. So it's a tie game again going into the third. In the third period, Columbus did a pretty good job of trapping the Jets to the outside so that most of their shots, at least early, were from the point or from bad angles. They didn't really give them the middle of the ice, which is ideal for trapping hockey. The push by the Jets actually showed up with about 4 minutes left in it. They pull the goalie with 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. And then Bjorkstrand tries to get the empty net for his hat trick. That missed the net at, it was about a minute and a half left, I believe, at that point, and it turned into icing, but nothing came of it. The Jets call a timeout with 5.5 seconds left. They weren't happy. So the referee, there's a deflection that goes off the Columbus player into the crowd, and they wanted to call which side of the ice the face-off was on, and they didn't. I wasn't on the side they wanted it on. They were quite vocal, and the referee came down to explain. From what I could gather, I haven't heard the official explanation, it's that it's a deflection. I think in order for it to be a situation where Winnipeg could choose the side, I think he'd have to shoot it out of play. I think if it's a deflection, I think then it's wherever it was deflected from again. And of course, if you shoot the puck straight out, well, then that's a power play. So, yeah, I'm not sure. Anyways, that didn't end up mattering because Columbus wins that face-off and they close out the game. It's 4-3 for Columbus. They continue their amazing streak. And for the Jets, they now have 3 wins in 11. This is a rough patch for them. Bressois saved 25 out of 29. One thing about the Jets, early in the season, they had games where they were outplayed. The San Jose one comes to mind. And their goaltending would bail them out. They're not getting that anymore. So while people may want to say, well, it's their goaltending. Well, yes and no. Their goaltending is allowing more goals than they're scoring, but they're just not getting the goaltending that bails them out like they were early. Merzlikins saves 27 out of 30. I thought he was fantastic in the third period. 3 stars are Bjorkstrand, Dubois, and Jones. Yes, all 3 of them are from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Power plays. Winnipeg goes 1 for 2. Columbus goes 1 for 1. Shots were 10-8 Winnipeg in the first, 11-7 in the second for Columbus, 13-10 for Winnipeg in the third. Final shots 30-29 in favor of the Jets. And what a game. So very, very back and forth game, but again, Columbus was the better team when they had to be, and this is just the kind of season that the Jets are having. And I kind of feel bad for them. I actually messaged Yvonne because she's out, and I said, it doesn't look to me like the Jets are going to make the playoffs this year. And all I got back was boo. So, moving along. Detroit in against the Minnesota Wild, and you can't call it a trap game because the Wings only have 12 wins on the season, right? Now, early it looked like it might be. So Zadina scores from Larkin and Daly at 3:08, and that's the first shot. So that's a sign that maybe, just maybe, Detroit has a chance. Greenway would score from Dumba at 4:28. And there was a bunch of inane chatter from Pierre Maguire at that point that I was like, oh, of course Pierre's calling this game. Last game before the break, of course. Shots were 7-1 for the Wild at 5 minutes. The Wild got almost a goal at 9.5 minutes into the game from Zuccarello. But, honestly, Howard, I hate to say this, Howard played pretty well. I feel so bad for Jimmy Howard at this point. He has like the worst record I've seen a goaltender have in a long time. Like, we're talking expansion level Ottawa Senators here. It's so sad. The Wings were pushing back, and I thought, could it be a trap game? Because the Wings are pushing back. They're kind of evening out the shots. There was a power play for the Wings, and they score on it. Yes, Zadina with the second goal of the game. He scores from Daly and Filppula at 16:39. It's 2-1 Detroit after one. Hey, the Wings are in this. The Wings might be able to... No. Zuccarello scores at 1 minute and 12 seconds into the second period. And then a minute later, Zucker scores from Rask and Fiala at 2:19. This has been Detroit's problem most of the season. And I know people are going to say, well, they're the worst team in the league, of course. However, how you end up being the worst team in the league, part of it is just those back-to-back goals, those quick back-to-back goals. And whether you're going to say, well, it's their goaltending, whether you're going to say, well, it's their defense, it's a lack of focus, it's probably a combination of all of those things. And it to me is the number one thing that is really sinking not just their season, but chances of being any higher than 31st. They allow these back-to-back goals. And for Minnesota, early in the season, Minnesota was doing that as well. Not so much lately. The Wings are regularly allowing those ones. And then Wild were denied at 8.5 minutes by Howard, but Howard had allowed 3 goals at that point. Eric Stahl scores from Parise and Zuccarello at 11:39. It's 4-2 in favor of the Wild after 2. And if you're a Wings fan, this is where you're like, all right, well, I guess that's it for me. Third period, the shots were 3-1 for the Wings at 6.5 minutes. Hronik then broke up an Eric Stahl chance, so they were still making the best effort. Howard robbed Eriksson Ek. Again, I thought Jimmy Howard had a good game. I know, Wings fans may very well disagree with me. I thought Howard played all right. I really don't put this on Jimmy Howard. Foligno then almost got one. They pull the goalie with 2.5 minutes, or a little bit more than 2 minutes left. And then they get a power play on a high stick, which makes it a 6-on-4. All that means is that the Wild can ice the puck and not worry about it. So the Wild hold on and win it 4-2. Jimmy Howard saves 29 out of 33 in the loss. Dubnyk saves 25 out of 27 in the win. Your 3 stars are Stahl, Zuccarello, and Dumba. So those are some important names. And yeah, the Wild avoid the trap, I guess. But again, for Detroit, it's another loss. Some learning experience here. They did go 1 for 2 on the power play. They didn't take a penalty. The Wild didn't get a power play. Shots were 12-11 in the first in favor of Minnesota. 15-5 Minnesota in the second. So yeah, there were a lot of things conspiring against the Wings in that second period. In the third, the Wings outshoot them 11-6, but they're behind by 2, and the Wings just don't have the offensive punch. This is where they miss an Anthony Mantha. Final shots 33-27 in favor of the Minnesota Wild. So what did this do to the standings? The Wild, they are within 2 points of Chicago. They moved past Nashville by 1 point. They are 5 points out of the playoffs right now. So we'll see what that does for them. But more importantly, it brings them within 2 points of the Jets. The Jets right now are in danger of falling not just below this playoff line, which they're under, but falling below some teams that are below that playoff line. They're only 3 points clear of Nashville. So for Winnipeg, tonight's result is bad. And for Columbus, with that win tonight, they move back up to the number 1 wildcard spot. And Carolina drops down to the number 2 wildcard. And for Philadelphia, they're saying, are you serious? We just can't catch a break right now. So things are kind of interesting around the league. And of course, for Detroit, they are now 33 points out of the playoffs. Wow. All right. There you go. We're all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. I do have a lot of other stuff that we're going to talk about tomorrow and over the next couple of days without hockey games, which makes it easier for me to plan out videos beforehand, and maybe a Madness video shows up. So by all means, stay tuned. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. Really looking forward to seeing some people in California. The dinner we're having at the Cheesecake Factory that first night, it looks like we've already got about 20 people coming out to that, so that'll be fun. And, since we're bringing the kids, it can't be somewhere really expensive, because A, if you have it somewhere that's really expensive, no, not with our kids. They will order the most expensive thing on the menu. And B, because kids will do that. And they'll be like, I don't want that. What's that? That's calamari. That's what you ordered. I don't want... Yeah, why... stick it in your face, and then and then things get ugly from there. So and then you've got the fact too that when you're inviting people out, you want to make sure that if they're high school kids that might come out, that there's people who maybe they're in between hours at their job or in between jobs. Yeah, they can come out and just have something to drink. Maybe they don't have the money for the meal, so that's why we have the meetups where we do. It's not really a fancy schmancy thing. I'm not a fancy guy, anyways. The way that I dress in videos is the way I dress in public, so it's. So these people like that. He dresses the same in public. Yeah. This is just me. So there you go. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you again soon. And hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through, because hey, I appreciate everybody who does.